I'm working the night shift at Walmart, doing the whole routine of restocking shelves. It's usually quiet and straightforward until this one night when things got weird. I was restocking some shelves near the toy area when suddenly a couple of electric toys started going off. With very strange sounds. At first I thought that some of my colleagues who were also restocking other sections were playing a joke on me. I glanced around, expecting to catch someone snickering or hiding nearby, but there was no one. I figured maybe they set it up remotely, so I decided to confront my coworkers about it. I asked around, but everyone denied any involvement, swearing they had no idea what I was talking about. I didn't give it any more importance, thinking that the prankster had been one of them and that they were definitely not going to recognize their participation, so I returned to my work and the night continued peacefully. But it happened again the next night. Same hallway, same toys, and the first thing that went through my head was that they were making the same joke on me again. So a little angry I went to my classmates and asked them to stop with the joke, but great was my surprise when they told me that they also heard the noise of those toys, but that they thought it was me who had been playing the prank on them since the night before. Puzzled by his response and determined to find the culprit, I went to the surveillance office and after explaining what happened to the manager, he allowed me to watch the video recordings of both nights. But incredibly at the time when the toys made those strange noises, no one was seen in those hallways. Of course I was not willing to question my sanity, so for my peace of mind, I only had to think that the noises those toys made were due to some electronic failure in their components. The next day I arrived earlier, since the manager had asked me for help to finish other tasks in the store. While working, I caught sight of the supplier of those toys in the warehouse, so I took the opportunity to tell him that I believed that some of his toys were broken and that I surely wanted to replace them. Concerned about the quality of his products, he accompanied me to the section where they were and asked me to show him which toys were broken, and this was where the situation became really strange and disturbing, since when I pointed out which toys were decomposed, he looked at me and told me with an angry face that the toys I was referring to did not have any electronic elements, and that they did nothing special and that he was also going to relabel them as an offer. They were already discontinued toys. I walked away bewildered and annoyed at the same time, since I never really worried about first checking those toys and checking if they were actually electronic. Night came and resigned to hearing those noises again. I started my work, but strangely I couldn't hear them again, so at the end of my shift, intrigued, I headed towards them, but when I arrived they were gone. It had already been sold. That same night, returning home, I couldn't help but think about the person who had bought them, and who was unaware of the terror that he was going to begin to experience in his own home.
Another night, same routine as the Walmart night shift security guard. As I made my rounds, things got a bit bizarre. It was just me in the dimly lit aisles, the usual quiet buzz of the store echoing around. I noticed that one hallway in particular was completely dark, so I decided to head towards that place, thinking that the lamps were already broken and needed to be changed. I was already close, and as I turned the corner to enter that hallway, there he was, a big dog, just sitting there, staring at me. No collar, no owner in sight. I approached, thinking maybe he was lost, but as I got closer, the growl got more intense. It wasn't aggressive, but it made it clear he didn't want me to go further into the darkness. Weird, right? A guard dog in Walmart. I tried to steer around him, but every time I did, he shifted, blocking my way. It was like he had a mission or something. I radioed the manager, who was already on his way home, and asked if someone brought a dog in, but he confirmed that no, and that he didn't know where that dog had come from. While I was thinking about what to do with the dog, I decided to shine my lamp on that dark hallway that I was not allowed to enter. That's when I noticed that a couple of shelves were slanted, and a big pile of boxes was teetering on the top edge of the shelves. One wrong move, and it looked like a whole avalanche was about to happen. I tried to get closer, thinking I could carefully fix the boxes, but the dog's growls got louder, more intense. It was like he knew what was about to go down and wasn't letting me get any closer. A chill ran down my spine, and I realized maybe he was onto something. I called maintenance, and I asked them to come stabilize those big boxes, but I hadn't finished talking to them when the heavy boxes collapsed, creating a shocking noise that echoed throughout the store. There I could see they contained very dangerous crystals, that when they fell, they broke into pieces. And that if that dog had not been there to prevent me from passing, I would not be telling this story at this moment. I looked down looking for the dog, but he was gone. I could only see his tail, at the other end of the hallway. I walked there only to meet the maintenance staff who had just entered at that moment. I asked them. Yes, they met a dog on their way, and to my surprise they told me yes, that when they entered he was standing at the door, and that he ran away as soon as he saw it open. It's been a few months now, but I still wonder how that dog got into the store, and what motivated it to save me from a serious accident that night. But the most important question I ask myself is, was it really a dog?
One night, pulling the late shift at Walmart, things got a bit strange. It was just me, going through the usual routine of stocking shelves and keeping things tidy. The store was quiet, but something felt off. As I moved around, I noticed the overhead lights flickering now and then. It wasn't a big deal, probably some electrical glitch. But it added this weird vibe, making the place feel a bit eerie. In the cleaning supplies aisle, I heard this odd creaking sound, like someone stepping on a loose floorboard. I turned around, thinking maybe another worker was around, but the aisle was empty. Maybe it was just the building settling, I told myself. Heading over to the electronics section, I noticed the TVs were showing static. It wasn't something I could fix, and it gave the whole area a kind of creepy feel. I tried not to think too much about it, just chalked it up to technical issues. The intercom also began to malfunction, making a muffled noise that sounded like whispers. I strained my ears, trying to understand what was being said, but it was a dull, meaningless sound, so I shook it thinking it was some kind of malfunction. As the night went on, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Footsteps echoed through the empty aisles, and every now and then, I thought I caught snippets of distant conversations. I checked the security monitors, but there was no one in sight. Near the stockroom, the air felt colder, and I caught a whiff of this odd, musty smell. I figured it was probably some issue with the ventilation, but it added to the overall weirdness. But what made the night strangest was the presence of some children knocking at the main entrance of the store, asking if they could go buy some toys. I simply told them no, that the store was already closed, that it was already late at night and that they should go home. I got no response, and I could only hear murmurs and giggles as they walked away. Everything about that night was very strange, but the only thing I could do was concentrate on my activities, wishing that time would move quickly and forget all that madness the next morning.